The woman was still breathing when they started cutting. That's the line detectives never forgot. Found scribbled in a grease-stained notebook buried under a floorboard, those 8 words would unravel one of the most grotesque cases in modern criminal history, a case that forced even the most hardened investigators into therapy. It started with a missing persons report, a college student who never returned from a date she scheduled on a popular dating app. But what officers found during the investigation wasn't just a trail of deceit, betrayal, and murder. It was something far worse, something primal, something inhuman. Behind the innocent profile pictures and flirtatious messages was a couple who lured their victims with charm, seduced them into false safety, and then, quite literally, devoured them. This is the story of the cannibal couple of Crescent Falls, a story of more than 30 victims, a story of blood-soaked secrets hiding behind suburban walls, and a story that will haunt you every time you swipe right. You might think you're safe, that it could never happen to you. But so did they. September 14, 2022. 21-year-old Hannah Clark didn't show up for her early morning shift at Crescent General Hospital. A nursing student, top of her class, she was the kind of person who never missed a shift, never missed a text, and always called her mom every night before bed. That night, there was no call. Her phone was last active near a forested area on the outskirts of town. The last message she sent was to her roommate. "He's cute, wish me luck." Attached was a screenshot, a dating app profile. A man named David, 32, rugged beard, friendly smile, chef. Police were notified the next day. Within hours, they launched a search party. They didn't find Hannah, but they found something else. Near an abandoned picnic table by the woods, officers spotted something glinting in the grass. A necklace, Hannah's. Next to it, drag marks and blood. Not a few drops, a pool, enough to suggest the worst. That was when Detective Natalie Ruiz took over the case. "We knew right then," Ruiz would later say. "This wasn't a missing persons case anymore. This was a murder. We just didn't know how deep it would go." The dating app, under subpoena, revealed that David wasn't just a fake name, it was a fake everything. The photos were traced to a completely unrelated man in another state. The IP address was routed through VPNs, but one ping got through, a location tied to an old farmhouse outside Crescent Falls. It belonged to a couple, Gregory and Melissa Yates. Both in their late 30s, no criminal history, quiet neighbors, no children. Gregory worked as a freelance chef. Melissa did odd jobs online, mostly graphic design. When officers first visited the home, Melissa answered the door with a smile. "Hi there, can I help you?" she asked sweetly. They asked if they could come in. "No," she replied. "You need a warrant, don't you?" The next morning, police had one, and what they found inside was straight out of a horror film. The home was pristine, too pristine. In the kitchen, a walk-in freezer, odd for a private residence. Inside, detectives found what at first looked like neatly packaged meat until they opened the bags. Human limbs, dozens of them, some wrapped in butcher paper, some still had jewelry. One had a tattoo, a lotus flower. Hannah's roommate confirmed it was hers. The Yates were arrested on the spot. But that was just the beginning. While executing the full search warrant, officers found a hidden basement behind a bookshelf. Inside were several items: a video camera, tripod, dozens of labeled videotapes, a handwritten cookbook titled Preserved Love, Gourmet Recipes from the Heart and Lungs. The tapes were hard to watch. Each was labeled with a name, over 30 in total. The footage documented everything, from the luring process to the captivity, to the butchery. Gregory Yates narrated many of the tapes in a chilling calm. Today's preparation: tenderloin from Emily, age 24, blonde, sweet girl. Melissa's voice chimed in occasionally, laughing, assisting, sometimes comforting the victims before the violence. These weren't just murders, these were orchestrated rituals. Born in upstate New York, Gregory had a troubled childhood. His father was abusive. His mother disappeared when he was 9, never found. Melissa was adopted, grew up bouncing between foster homes, a quiet, artistic girl obsessed with body horror films and dark erotica. The two met in an online fetish forum in 2007. They bonded over strange desires. Cannibalism was a fantasy until it became real. They first acted on it in 2011, an ex-boyfriend of Melissa's who threatened to expose them. The body was never found. That victim was later identified as tape number 1. Between 2016 and 2022, the couple created 14 different profiles across 5 dating platforms. They used AI-generated photos, fake bios, and scripted charm to reel victims in. Most were women, ages 18 to 35. But 2 male victims were also discovered. They lured them with the promise of adventure, romantic getaways, or sometimes gourmet home-cooked meals. They almost always ended with drugs, restraints, and death. Chapter 7. Police Interrogation Scene in T Police Interrogation Room Night. Detective Ruiz faces Gregory Yates across the table. The air is thick with tension. Detective Ruiz, 30 lives. You cooked 30 people. Gregory, smiling softly. 32. Melissa was working on a new dish before you interrupted. Detective Ruiz, why? Gregory, shrugging. People eat animals every day. This was just intimate. Detective Ruiz, you're a monster. Gregory, laughing. And yet you're here, asking for the recipe. The trial drew national attention. The media dubbed them the Crescent Cannibals. In court, Melissa broke down, claimed she was manipulated. But the tapes showed otherwise. She was active, enthusiastic, sometimes more sadistic than Gregory. In one clip, she calmly hummed while sharpening a carving knife as a victim pleaded for her life. The jury deliberated for just under 3 hours. Verdict: guilty on all counts. Sentence: life without parole. Gregory and Melissa were placed in separate maximum security facilities. Both were placed on suicide watch. Despite finding 32 tapes, the couple's notes hinted at up to 45 total victims. 13 bodies remain unaccounted for. Police are still working to identify the missing using DNA, dental records, and personal effects. One haunting fact remains. Some of the meat sold by Gregory through his private gourmet club may have ended up in restaurants. That list was never released to the public. Authorities feared mass panic. And the dating apps? All issued statements, all vowed better safety measures. But can they really protect you? So the next time you open that dating app, remember this. Not every charming smile has good intentions. Not every chef is cooking what you expect. Be careful who you trust. Be careful who you meet. Because the cannibal couple of Crescent Falls didn't just take lives, they feasted on them. Don't forget to subscribe to True Crime Feedback for more chilling documentaries like this. New stories every week. Stay safe and stay alert. Because the next true crime story might be about someone you know.